every single industry essentially is a software industry. Every industry is a software industry. You name me an industry, a company, and I'll point to a software company. There's no companies out there anymore that are not software companies. That's why people, there's a retro love of vinyl records, because it's one of the few things in life that's not software. People harken back to those old days of, vinyl records. It's not software. Or people like to bake bread at home because it's not software. The era before software is a bygone era. But since the 1970s and accelerating exponentially up until current times, it's all freaking software. And the ultimate software is Bitcoin, because it turned money, which has been non-disrupted for 5,000 years, gold, has been disrupted and is now software and softwareized. And so every single company, every single nation will plug into the Bitcoin network. So, when we said many years ago, when you buy Bitcoin, when it was $10, $20, $50, it's like buying the internet, an actual piece of the internet protocol back in the early 1990s. The internet, the protocol is worth trillions and trillions. It's almost incalculably, priceless. It's the Mona Lisa. There's no price for the Mona Lisa. There's no price for the internet. It's incalculably valuable. The same thing for Bitcoin. There is no top for Bitcoin. The thing is just going to race ahead at 200% a year for 10 years. Then we might see, ratchet down to maybe only going at 100% a year. But literally, there's a $300 trillion global market that is going to all migrate over to Bitcoin. Do the frickin' math, Nouriel. You're supposed to be an economist. 2 + 2 = 4, not 7.92873 fractional reserve over the deficit of my intellect because I've been out drinking too much. No, that's not it, Nouriel. You've got to get with the program.
I want to juxtapose some of these people, these unnamed people from the Fiat Dark Ages who want to stay there. Let them stay there. They can stay there. Why not? Let them. I don't care. Like, more Bitcoin for me, right? Like, I'm going to stack sats in a few moments if the cats don't turn off this simulation. And the fact is, like, I am so happy.
Now, isn't it also true, Michael Saylor, that in so doing, you've broken from the pack of the CEOs in the Fortune 500, and instead of nodding to the Federal Reserve Bank that money will always be super cheap and you will just take all that free money and be a part of the problem, isn't it true that you're taking a bit of an adversarial position toward the Fed and saying, you know what, we don't want your stinking fiat money. We're just going to buy Bitcoin, and we're going to actually go to war with you. And he was nodding his head, and didn't want to get too much into it because he is an officer of a publicly listed company and you don't want to make the comments that are going to get you too much attention. But the fact is that what Michael Saylor is doing, what Tesla is doing, what Mass Mutual is doing, what all these companies that are putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet are doing is they're repeating the playbook from George Soros, 1993, speculative attack against the Bank of England, where he made a quick $1 billion, he and Stan Druckenmiller, by using the bank against itself. They forced it out of the exchange rate mechanism. This is exactly what's going on by all these corporate CEOs buying back their own, buying back Bitcoin. Now, as far as Uber goes, like, we're not going to put our cash into Bitcoin. There's a couple of points. First of all, Uber has no cash. It's totally indebted, and they're lucky to be surviving. They have no cash to put into Bitcoin to begin with, so that's a moot point. Second of all, the second they said they were not going to take Bitcoin on their service, the stock crashed. So this is a signal. Therefore, in conclusion, my summary would be this. You're absolutely right. Markets are sending a signal, and now Uber is being spanked. They're being bitch slapped. Their stock is being hammered because they're saying stupid things. And for the new management of Uber to get with the program, or Lyft, which is a competitor of Uber, they should come out today and say, you know what? Uber is an idiot. We're going to actually take Bitcoin in our Lyft network. And Lyft stock would immediately go up. You see, that's the way competition works. That's the price discovery mechanism. That's what the Enlightenment told us. That's what America's all about. Not bureaucrats on top dictating nonsense. I read somewhere today that some Egyptian pharaoh who ruled Egypt had his own personal nose picker. I mean, what a waste of money that is. Give me a freaking break.
I read a tweet from Michael Saylor, and Michael Saylor of Microstrategy, who started this run by the corporates into Bitcoin. He said that companies that repurchase their stock with cash weaken their business. Those that buy back stock with debt actually impoverish their business. And that's the most important sentence there, okay, in terms of what explains the US economy since 2000 in particular. We've essentially bought back the stock of America with debt, and it impoverished the people.
Voila.
That's why we have so many deplorable people here, according to the elites, right? That people are angry, they get called alt-right, they get called fascists, they get called neo-Nazis, they get called all these words, deplorables, and like, let's erase them from the history books. Let's re-educate them. Let's try to deplatform them so we don't have to hear their pain. We don't have to hear their anger and disappointment at what we, the elite, did. Because that's what, I mean, that's exactly what the French, monarchy did in the lead up to their demise. Is that, they didn't want to. If you live in Versailles, do you want to change? Do you want things to change? Do you want to have to go into a bed sit somewhere? No, you want to stay in Versailles, right? You want to live there. You don't want to leave because your life is pretty good.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Warren Buffett is the new John Law. He's just totally.
Because Warren Buffett is big into stock buybacks.
See, without stock buybacks, Warren Buffett's performance would be less than a money market fund. But you're right. Quantitative easing, or buying back your own stock, is essentially fraud. And you're defrauding your own country by buying back your debt monetization. And that's why the U.S. dollar purchasing power is crashing, not only against Bitcoin, of course. The U.S. dollar is in a hyperinflationary collapse against